Cadre fans, type 2 diabetes, rescued by keto fans, super curve honing fans. This is Bill here. It is April the 2nd, Sunday. Day we have at the Cadre, our Zoom call. It happens every other week. I try and do a shave once a week. I think it's been a week. I'm not sure. It certainly looks like it's been a week since I shaved, but it's been too long. But I'm still on the Williams challenge. I moved to my fine accoutrements bowl on the shave of the day photo. I put a picture in there of the what was left of the puck kind of dried out and came loose from the mug that I had it in. So I figured it was time to move it. It was funny. You know, once I stuck it in there, and that's a smooth bottom, just a regular coffee mug. Once I stuck it in there, it pretty much stayed there and until the end here. Whether I guess they're just because I delayed a little bit in my shaving routine, and what moisture was left in there just kind of dried out and it just didn't stick anymore. So I'm continuing to use the Omega brush. I'm seeing this puck turn into a donut here. Okay, and it does seem to be still generating lather. Today was the first day I noticed. I usually put a little water in this and soak it for a little while. Today was the first day I actually noticed the scent in this. You know, the scent had been previously described. I've read descriptions where it was kind of a citronella type scent. And I just didn't, even still, I just shaving with it, I do not pick up any strong kind of scent. I'd heard people who were Williams opponents talk about how bad it smelled. It's like, okay, whatever. So it looks like I'm still gonna have a couple more shaves on this, what's left of this soap, because it's just going and going. It's like the Energizer Bunny, just going and going and going. And I actually want to end this because I wanted to continue with pretty much the same tool that I have been using, the 6/8 Ti with the French point. I kind of wanted to end this because there's like a lot of other tools that I really want to use. Although one of the things that I'm enjoying about this little Williams adventure is that it's long been my thoughts that one of the principles of learning traditional wet shaving, whatever way, shape, or form you choose that to be, many people go across the spectrum like I do, although my leaning is toward the open edge tools. And one of the things that I learned a long time ago was, here's the razor. I'm amazed at how sharp this remains. I am using a shaped CBN strop. and leather. But one of the principles that gave me my first good successes in learning to shave in the traditional method was not to jump around with the gear you use, but to try and become accustomed to whatever it is. And Williams is one of those things that I just never used because it was like so controversial. There were people, it was one of those things that seemed you had those that loved it and those that hated it. And even those that were so much in love with it, they almost become fanatical about how you use it. To the point that even one of the things that I did today was put a little water on it. Like, no, you're not supposed to do that. Use a wet brush, use a dry brush, a million different things. There was another thing on the Cadre where they talked about the term YMMV, your mileage may vary. Which seems to me would have been such a obvious thing that it almost needs to go unsaid. But that was interesting little conversation, and stuff like Williams falls in there, Arco, how you hone, all kinds of stuff. Kind of all falls into that funny little thing where somebody feels like they becoming such an authority on something that everybody should do things exactly the way they say, which is stupid for me. We don't find a whole lot of that in my commercial for the Shaving Cadre, where I have my convention shirt on and my towel, and that's me, and that's the avatar that I use and have used for a long time. But one of the things that I'm learning through this, Williams is a soap that it does the job. It's an adequate soap. I think there are things that I like better than this, and I likely would not take to this as a soap that I would use on a regular rotation or a weekly basis. Because I just think there's stuff that I kind of like better. And like many people who adopt wet shaving as a hobby, often you find yourselves buying way more stuff than you need, which brings me to a thought that I was, one of the thoughts that I was having about the future of wet shaving, and I'll get to that in a minute. But one of the principles in expanding and rounding out your experience is using the same thing. And it's a good principle to follow for people who are in the earliest stages of their journey, where they see people have been at it for a while, changing around, using this, using that. Going through however much gear, or soaps and aftershaves and everything that they got. I think it's pretty natural you get this stuff. You want to experiment, you want to use it. And as fun as that is to do, and as much a part of it, much part of that it is. I don't know if I got myself a little, I see some red. As much of a part of it that is changing over. If you're trying to learn something, that's not, in my opinion, the best way to go. The best way is to stick with something and get the skill balanced in your mind and in your hands for the feel. And I'm still, I'm doing that in practice. This has been good for me, a good time, because this area of my face I had never shaved in a traditional method. I'd never in my life before a couple months ago shaved my mustache. And the last time I shaved my chin was for sure using a cartridge. And but speaking of cartridges and the future of wet shaving, anyhow, I want to go back. I'm learning. Those of you that may have seen my first shave of my goatee and my mustache, it was it was an interesting trip. Okay, I've done enough videos that I was comfortable enough in doing that, and I felt that my abilities handling a straight razor were good enough to not really create a big, huge problem. And I did draw a little bit of blood. I don't know if it was, I'm pretty sure it had something to do with my techniques, my angles, and some with the fact that my skin was never used to having a sharp edge dragged across it. But the one thing I thought about was the future of wet shaving. Oh, and Spider gave me the Williams soap, gifted it to me. He leads the February Williams thing. Now here we are, early April, and I'm still using this thing. So it's could be over 2 months of the year that I'm using the same soap. And I don't have statistical numbers to display of my opinion. Somebody else would have to come up with those numbers. But it does just seem to me like there's a reduced interest in wet shaving. You could hypothesize many reasons as to why. And my reasoning is it just seems like the activity in social media and what have you just seems to be have waned a little bit. Whether it be YouTube, guys like me making shave videos. Participation in shave forums. There used to be like always lots of guys, new guys coming in. Coming in with questions about this, that, whatever it is. And there just seems to be less of that. Not that it matters, but of course, if you're in the business of supplying this type of hobby, you would be concerned. And those would be the people you'd have to have come up with the numbers as to what they see. Some businesses have grown and businesses have died. I have one opinion about some things. One of them is, one of my opinions is that wet shaving typically was a way to avoid the cost of cartridges. Well, they just got to be so much. They got to be cartridges. They got to be $5 a pop or whatever, ridiculously high, because they had you. You know, once you bought their razor, you had to use their stuff. So traditional wet shaving largely, I think, took from one of the things I've been doing a lot is that last little bit of trimming. I've been doing it with slight dampness to the face, but no reapplication of the lather. And one of the things about Williams is it does seem to retain a slickness to be able to do that. Although I don't find in the volume of soap to be that slick, but it'll be interesting to find out when I move away from this, when I try that same stuff, how that works with some of the other soaps that I have. But one of the things in wet shaving that I had thought about was, okay, everybody's chasing for the market share of the big guy, Gillette, the 5-6 blade cartridges or whatever, and that's who they're chasing, and everybody's chasing that, whether you be somebody else producing the same type of thing, or somebody making wet shavers gear for hobbyists such as myself, whether it be double edge, single edge. The traditional straight razor market is obviously in there, as well as those that have been marketing the traditional barber tools. Good feel from the Allen. Just a little activity, just to let me know that I didn't go too deep and I went deep enough. So I'm gonna skip over. Maybe I'll put a little bit of a balm on. I'll use the Sterling unscented aftershave balm. This has water, witch hazel, aloe, some type of wax, and then a whole bunch of oils and stuff. This is pretty nice stuff. I found that I like to put this on while my face is still a little bit wet. Seems like it goes in and doesn't, if I let it dry, it kind of left a greasy feeling that I didn't particularly care for. But one of the things that I thought of is, okay, so everybody's chasing Gillette, and I'm using Sterling for him, which is their take on Versace for him, which is a scent that I really like, but it's not always available. It's one of the things that they offer occasionally on special, and then it kind of disappears. But one of the things I wanted to say, and I say this because recently I received back a gift that I gave my brother a couple of years ago. I gave him a supply injector type razor, and I'm also using the EDT of the same scent. So that smelled good for me. But that tool came back. My brother tried it. It just didn't really do it for him, because he's very, very typically shaves like a lot of people do. He takes his cartridge razor, he goes in the shower, and he shaves in the shower. Has one of these little steam-free mirrors or whatever, and he's been doing it that for all. So he gave it a try, but it just didn't do it for him. And I told him, I says, because I have a supply razor, but I didn't buy the multitude of plates, because I just bought the one that I thought everybody seemed to use most, which the 3 plates on the supply razor is passe. Now they have kind of like an adjustable type thing, and then they have one with this protective type comb that is kind of ideal for people to start off with. And that's where, using my powder bomber, and that's where I thought, okay, there's somebody who, their market, a singular company that's marketing in methods similar to what the cartridge club razors are doing, and they are making like an automatic restocking of the supplies they provide, and they're doing that. But I think their marketing program works. I personally think it works, and I think that that's one of the things that takes away from newbies, new people, newcomers into the more traditional wet shaving thing that I'm part of, because they're going after the cartridge razor, which is always what traditional wet shaving kind of did. You kind of went after people who were dissatisfied with cartridge, and I think they're doing a very effective job with it. And whether people will go into that because those tools are good, and it's, becomes a thing, well, I got this tool and I just shave with it, but I don't want another hobby. But there are people who probably go into that and need to learn a few things about how wet shaving happens. And they may move into wet shaving, but there's probably a lot of people that would have been the newbies, the newcomers, the people who we wanted to help teach them and that sort of thing. And I just don't think there's as many of them there. You can leave a comment in the comment section if you like, or this is the kind of thing that could be open for discussion. I've seen threads on different places over the years for that type of thing, and it really doesn't matter to me, and here's one instance that's fresh in my mind. My hunting method, I think, is destined to never really become mainstream in the area of straight razor shavers. I don't even think straight razor shavers will ever become mainstream, although there's numerous people who thought that straight razor shaving should overcome when people realize how great of a shave you can get with a straight razor that would overcome the cartridge market. And I just don't think so. I just don't think that's going to happen. I don't think people, and then guys like me who find a certain way that we like to hone that's different than everybody else does. You know, where's the future for that? No, it's going to stay a hobby thing. So, okay, this is Bill. I enjoyed the shave. Great shave. With that tool, I still got some couple shaves left in on the Williams challenge. The TI razor is holding real well. I don't know. Am I going to continue with that razor, or am I going to start using some of my other stuff that I'm missing so desperately? When, I don't know. Certainly there's not a lot of that soap left, but there is some left. So this is Bill. Early April. Hope you all had a good April Fool's Day. And those of you that tune in here and are members of the Cadre and are on the Zoom call, I'll see you tonight. And those of you who have never done so, do take some time and visit theshavingcadre.com. It's a great place to discuss shaving type things, as well as numerous other things. When we do our Zoom calls, we talk about shaving, but we talk about other things that are areas of interest for gentlemen. So, and I don't mean that in any kind of a bad way. So, those of you that we'll see. If not, everybody take care till the next shave. This is Bill, out.